Hi everyone, welcome to Dev Tips. Let's talk about Postman, a very famous API testing tool that we all are probably a fan of, and especially I am. So let's talk about it. So those who are not aware about what this tool is, this is a really interesting tool, basically written in Electron app. It's basically written in Electron JS framework. It's an Electron app that allows you to do API testing. So when you launch it for the first time, it should look something like what you are seeing on your screen. Now, let's try to explore what it is, what we can do around that tool. So, for starters, when you launch the Postman, you should see something like this where you have an option to either sign in or create an account. Before we go there, uh, just try to say something real quick. Yeah, yeah, this is good. All right. So, you can either sign in or create an account. I already have an account with Postman, which is like a free account. So when you click on a sign in, it should redirect you to your browser. And so workspace is nothing but the way you can create the Postman collection or environment variables or the environment itself, which can be shared with other developers. Basically, you can create a collection once and multiple team members can use the same collection without putting an effort to that. So when you log in for the first time, you will always be on your default workspace. As you can see, um, I'm logged into my default workspace, and that's like my workspace. So first thing you will do is like to create new workspace so you can share that collection. So I'm going to name that as demo workspace. No summary. This is just like personal. This is where you set the visibility of like your workspace, whether it's shared between team, just with you, or everyone else can view the collections and environments you set inside this workspace. So for the demo purpose, I'm going to keep it as personal workspace, and let's just create it. Once you have that, and as you can see, it kind of logs the activity as well. So you can see what all things are going on within the workspace. So the very simple usage I can think of Postman is to make an API call. That is not all it offers. There are a lot more things that you can do with Postman itself. So for now, let's keep it simple and let me quickly review uh, the fake JSON API. So it's the JSON placeholder API that you can use to make the API calls, which returns some dummy values. So I'm going to copy one of the URL and I will provide the link for that specific URL in the description below. So before you start putting your request here, there is another concept inside workspace which is called collection. So very first thing you will do is create the collection of your APIs. So simple as as a sample, they have already provided a way you would create a collection, which is like create a first folder, then create a second folder, and you can add the collections inside that. So let's hit create collection. Yeah. So as you can see, new collection is here. I'm going to name it as JSON placeholder API. There is no auth because this is a public API. You don't have to do anything crazy. So let's save this by hitting Control S, and then you see here, which is called add a request. So let's try to add a request to this collection, the newly created collection. And for some reason, system is behaving a bit weird. All right. So I'm going to paste, oh, sorry, I have to name the request here, which is, let's just say, get request. And you can specify what kind of operation you're trying to perform by making this API call. So I know that this is a get endpoint. So I'm just going to copy paste the URL that I have, JSON placeholder dot typecode.com slash to slash one. So when you hit send, it gives you a response back from that specific API. Now, note that the moment you put the URL, you should see uh, orange circle here, which says you have unsaved request. So just hit Control S again, save it, and it is stored. So you can close that, and you double click or single click here, it should pop up the request again, and you can reuse the same request parameters if you have set anything in the get request. So that's it for now. I'm going to continue uh, explaining about Postman and how you can use into your own API, probably through a web API project or through a minimal API project in the next series. Thanks for watching.